Good morning, everybody. It's Roland Comtois. We're here live, finally back with you on a Wednesday at 11:11. I hope that you're there with me this morning. If you are, give me a little thumbs up saying that you're around. I'm just waiting for people to tune in this morning. It is 11:11, and we are live here in Rhode Island. I'm very happy to be with you this morning. Glad to be here on the journey with you, and I have... Thank you for clicking in. I have brought with me this morning, the purple papers and some stories to share with you this morning. So thank you so much for being here. I want to give a shout out to everyone, to all of my very dear friends that came to see me and see the performance and hear the music of my new production, Heaven the Experience. I really am very grateful. To those very special people that traveled hours and hours to sit in the audience, thank you. And to those that were across the street who came to see us, thank you very much. And I want to say thank you again to Steve Lupo for his amazing music, Brian Sawyer for the unbelievable lighting display, and Diane Lupo for her stage direction, Carrie Butts for her administrative work, and everyone who supported the experience. So thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you to the Arctic Playhouse. So I want to say good morning. And I know that we haven't seen each other in a couple of weeks, at least at 11:11 on a Wednesday, because I have been very busy preparing for the Heaven the Experience event. So I'm glad to be here with you this morning. Don't forget, when you're tuning in, let us know where you're listening from. And I will send you loving blessings. Hey, Sam in England, how are you this morning? Thank you for tuning in. I don't think it's morning where you are, but I'm glad that you're here today. So I brought with me the purple papers because I know that you've been wanting to see them and you've been wanting to hear stories about them. And last night was no different. There was one message written specifically with someone's name on it to her sister in the room, which was very beautiful and powerful. And there were other messages. You know, every time at my events, I always say, you know, you come here praying for a message from your mother, but Uncle Charlie always shows up. Well, as soon as I said that last night, I said it directly to a woman. Well, her father was named Charlie, and the niece was there, and the wife was there, I think. And it was a very funny moment where everybody came together. And a purple paper with Charlie's name on it, and the experiences of his last days, and the fact that he was at home when he passed, was already pre-recorded on a purple paper. So right now, I have in front of me these purple papers that were dated yesterday, 4/17. This one talks about Anna and how she felt, the weird feelings in her legs 6 weeks before she passed. And you see how that's highlighted in yellow? That's because it was an important part of what the message was that she was trying to say. Just as it is here, I tried everything they said for me to do. And so she goes on to tell me the story of what she went through and how she was feeling and what she was experiencing. And so Anna felt very weird feelings and that she wasn't feeling well. And she was talking about that in this particular message. Now, if this message rings true to you, then take a couple of minutes and send us a private message and we'll let you know, or even here in the stream right now, let me know what you think, because maybe there's a message for you that's already pre-recorded. As you already know, and let me just reiterate this with you if you're just joining with me for the first time, the purple paper starts like this, empty, blank. I sit in front of it, I pray and I meditate, and then something like this happens. So it goes from a blank piece of paper to words, messages that I hear, stories that I hear, and that I want to share them with you. Before I read the next purple paper, let me give you a couple of shout-outs to Justina in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, my hometown. I was there last night. And by the way, for those of you that are from Woonsocket, I will be there on Sunday doing another event. You can get that information online. Jennifer from Fall River, thank you very much. Janine in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, thank you. Donna in Rehoboth, Mass. Terry in Worcester, Mass. Pauline in North Smithfield, thank you. Linda in Stamford. Hey, Linda, I hope to see you guys soon down there in Stamford very soon. Teresa in Fall River, A couple of Fall River people listening this morning. Joan in Cranston and Bobby in Easton, Maryland. Yeah, Bobby, thanks. Joan in the Cape. Hey, Joan, how are you today? I hope everything's going well. Stephanie in Foxborough, Danielle in Wallingford, Connecticut, and Richard, my old friend or young friend Richard, down there in Tampa, Florida. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Second purple paper. I don't know if you can read my handwriting, and it may be backwards, but that says Ronald. So Ronald was praying. Okay. We're having technical issues right now, right in front of your eyes. Live, people, technical issues. Ronald was praying to feel better, and he talks about how his breathing intensified in the hospital. I think I had a reaction to the medicines. I never really came back or out of it, he says. He talks about how the oxygen helped for a while, and it was hard to fight through this. And then, this is really important. This is why these purple papers are important. Remember, all of them are pre-recorded long before I will ever meet Ronald's family, because I don't know Ronald's family, right? Here it says, do you remember what you said to me? And then it goes on and highlighted, I do. You said, hold on. And I love you too. So there was something very interesting about that message that Ronald is trying to pass along to his family members that are going to bring them a little bit of peace and love. Now, sometimes the messages on the purple papers come without a name. So this was an example of one that I heard yesterday while I was preparing at the Stadium Theater, of a paper that was nameless, but a big story. And it goes on to say, tell my mom that I'm sorry about the drugs. You know how it started, Mom. It was from the accident, in quotes, when I was a kid. I'm getting emotional telling you this one for some reason. I never thought that my teenage years would be so hard. You always pushed me, and you pushed me hard. Thanks, Mom. I know you worry about the years of 16 to 19. I know you do. But I'm all right, Mom. I promise. Now, you see, this one doesn't have a name. But it's a story. These are the purple papers and the stories behind them. Stories that tell of love everlasting, of connections that remain, of life beyond death. Now, if you're not into mediums, then this is not going to be interesting to you. But if you're into the idea that love evolves, that we continue on our journeys together, then maybe these papers are interesting. Mary in big, big letters. And these kind of golden yellow rosary beads. Yes, I'm still holding the rosary beads. I tried to be the best mother, and I was. My mother met me when I passed. I hadn't seen her for more than 27 years. I know how hard you cared for me. I know how hard you tried to make it right. Don't you think that's strange? Right? So I heard this in my head, sat in front of a blank purple paper yesterday, prior to walking into the Stadium Theater, meeting 100 people. This message wasn't delivered yesterday because I haven't found Mary's family. That's the difference. They're recorded before we even come face to face with each other. Let's go to the next one. By the way, next week on our Wednesday show at 11:11, I will be answering your questions live during the stream. So if you ask me about a loved one and I have a feeling, I'm going to share that with you next week. Today, I wanted to reconnect us to the purple papers because we haven't seen each other in several weeks. Let's do a couple of other shout-outs. Are there any there?
Hold on.
Okay, Carrie's still gathering that information. Here's another interesting one. 4/17, dated yesterday. Helen started with congestion. Then her lungs got filled. The medicine was very slow to help. I didn't want to stay at the hospital or even go on anymore. I wanted to go home. I wanted to go home and take care of my house, too. But I was so tired, right? The thing that's interesting is that there's a gold bracelet on this paper. I think someone's going to understand what that gold bracelet is all about and why that message is important. So right now we're looking at a message from Anna about how her legs were and how she felt. We're looking at Mary in these gold or yellow crystal-like rosary beads. We're talking about this young kid who had an accident, who ended up taking some drugs and unfortunately passed on. And then Ronald, who was praying to feel better from how his breathing intensified in the hospital. The thing that always amazes me about the purple papers, though, is that they fit only one person. Even if you all knew someone named Ronald, the story is only for one family. But hear me out. Sometimes in the audience, someone will say, my God, that sounds like my father. And we'll read the entire paper together, but there will be one word that makes it very specific for that one person or that one family who's looking for that message. So sometimes skeptics have said, well, don't you try to just make it fit for the family? It doesn't work that way. If it's meant to be your purple paper and it's meant to be with your family, then it's going to come to you somehow. You know, last night a woman said to me, well, how come you don't have any messages for me? Aren't my people talking to me? You know, and I said, well, they are talking, but there are other voices that are just a little bit louder and a little bit stronger at this particular moment. Let's give out a couple of shout-outs again. Lisa in Harrisville, Rhode Island. Cynthia in Wilton, Connecticut. Christopher in Warwick, Rhode Island. Thanks for joining. Jessica in Woonsocket. Jane in Swansea, Massachusetts. Patricia in Scranton, PA, thank you for listening. Shannon in Millville, Massachusetts, thank you. Melissa in Lake Placid, New York. I hope I get back up there, because every time I talk about Lake Placid, New York, I talk about that wonderful restaurant that made Caesar salad dressing with lemon sauce or something. Man, that salad was delicious. We went there every day and ate the salad all the time. I don't think I ate anything else but salad while I was there. Ann in West Haven, Connecticut, and Liz in Charlestown, Rhode Island, thank you so much for tuning in. Here's another interesting message, right? I told you about the Helen paper and then this gold chain. Now, it doesn't look much of anything to you, but when someone gets this purple paper, when somebody gets this message, they will feel better. They will feel a lot better. Last night at the event in the stadium, I had this feeling of a woman whose mother was murdered. Now, interestingly enough, I had a conversation with someone recently about that. But there was a woman in that room last night, in a room of 100 people, whose mother was murdered, and I just couldn't get to her. So if you are the person, you were sitting to my left, backside, closest to the windows, somehow I couldn't get my way all the way to you. If you were in that audience last night and you want to talk about your mom who passed from some crazy accident of crossing the street, then send me a note here on Facebook. I felt like I had something for you, but I couldn't get there. There meaning the space. Last night, there was a grandfather in the room who missed his grandchild. And what a beautiful message of healing that came to him. A beautiful message from his grandchild to grandfather. That touched my heart very deeply. And I want to say something to the audience that was there last night. I'm proud of you. There were a lot of people in that room that really didn't believe in anything like this. Didn't believe in the possibilities. But you stuck it out for an hour and a half. Proud of you for that. That was good work on your behalf. How about Michael John Another purple paper that I heard. And he goes on to say that he didn't see it change so fast. I know that they told you it was sudden. Well, it was sudden. There was something physical before it all changed for me. And I don't know what that means, but I know that it's going to matter to somebody. I've tried to send you signs in the room in quotes. Oh, wow. Everything's changing right now. I have a feeling that somebody understands one of these purple papers. You know, we all search. I think we search for messages, whether we say that out loud or not. We seek out those messages to give us hope and inspiration. Whether they're delivered via a purple paper or through the voice of someone like me, or from a friend who calls you in the right moment of time. Those are all channeled experiences, by the way. A purple paper, a voice message, a verbal message, or a friend who takes your hand and says you're going to be all right, are all channeled experiences somehow. And I think that we all need a message here and there. And sometimes we don't need our loved ones to say, "Woo, you should see how pretty it is up here." I don't think that's it. I think we need the message to give us inspiration, to go on, to push through, to find our way through whatever it is that's on our minds, you know? Because when I want a message from my mother, I don't say, "Hey, Ma, how does it look over there?" "Oh my God, by the way, have you been having some crazy dreams?" Oh my God. I dreamt of my mother a couple of nights ago, and there were several people in the dream. It was my friend, my sister, and I, and my mother and her old boyfriend, which he'll remain nameless here because I wasn't thrilled about him, but that's all right. Anyways, he's passed on. The two of them were going on a cruise, and they left port without us. And I thought, that's my mother having one more chance with the guy she really loved in life. And it was so amazing. It was so amazing. So do the messages come to tell us to validate the afterlife? Or do the messages come to validate who we were with each other? Kristen, I think it's Christina, says, "I get signs all the time." Christina, how do the signs come to you? I really would love to know that. How do the signs come? How do you know when somebody's talking to you? Hello to Krista in Smithfield, Rhode Island, Lisa in Brantford, Connecticut, Joanne in Florida, thank you for tuning in. Cindy in Florida, I'm going to be in Florida January 2019. Sherry in New Bedford, Dawn in Cranston, Rhode Island. Thank you guys for tuning in this morning. So Justina is saying validation on the relationship. I'm trying to read this while I'm talking to you, which is hard because the print is so small. You know, and someone who posts a message, I never get signs. You know, I struggle with that because I think signs come for all of us, but I think we put an expectation on how that sign should be. So instead of whoever said that, that's already passed by me here. Whoever said I don't get signs, maybe the sign is a feeling you get inside yourself. Maybe it's a thought you have. Maybe it is a butterfly flying by. Maybe it's something else. So maybe the signs come in a different way. You know, not everyone gets messages on a purple paper. Not everybody gets the big moment where, you know, it's answered in a brief second. Sometimes they come slowly and methodically. So for those of you that say you don't get any signs or messages, right? For those of you that say that, what I want you to do is practice just being as still as you can, quiet, even for a few minutes a day, a few seconds a day. Just do that for a while. In time, you'll begin to feel the energy a lot differently. Dawn says she sees red birds and hawks all the time. You know, I think the red birds and the hawks are signals, are messages that someone is around you. I got one of the famous purple papers. Okay, I'm glad you did.
Jamie gets signs through insects.
Jamie gets signs through insects. I've never heard that before. What kind? Do you mean butterflies or ants? Well, I'm getting all, ooh, you know, I don't want to tell you what happened to me when I walked into the butterfly garden once. Oh, my God. Oh, I panicked. Everything started coming after me. I didn't belong in the butterfly. Oh, here I am talking about it. I didn't belong in the butterfly garden, but nevertheless, dragonflies for Courtney Walsh. I love that.
Christina says random words on radio or TV.
Random words on radio and TV. That's amazing. Or you get into a car, right? And all of a sudden your loved one's favorite song is playing. Do you think that's a coincidence? Or is something big going on here, right? Is something else happening that's causing that experience? So when a song comes on the radio, or random words appear in strange places, or you find a card with your loved one's name on it, you know, it's so strange how it all happens. But when it happens, it's transformative on every level. Now you have a choice there. You can either say thank you for the sign and message, or say that's nuts, it's not real. It's all in you. So I choose, when I have a dream about my mom, that I'm thinking it's a signal, it's a sign, it's a moment, it's incredible, you know? I'm not delving any deeper than that, and being in a state of absolute gratitude for the experience, okay? So again, you have a choice. When that message comes, however it comes, through a voice of a medium, through a purple paper, and I got a lot of them, right? Through a purple paper, or from a friend, or from a strange occurrence that has no explanation. You have two choices. You can say, thanks, Spirit. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, whatever you believe in. Thank you all. Or say no. That's the beauty of it. It's all in your hands. All in your hands. I'm going to take you back to 2015. I don't know why I have to go back into this pile of papers, but I'm going to read a couple of names. In the old days, there weren't as many names. Here's one from Stanley. Something about I didn't get out of the fire. Mary is asking, what is the purple paper? The purple papers are these, all of these, every one of these have handwritten messages on them that I receive from the other side. My sister needs to know that I'm really okay, and it's about a flag. 2015. I'm looking for other... Alma. Alma? Never heard that name in my life. Oh, no, that's not true. My mother's best friend was Alma. Now that I think about it. Gregory, 2015 message. Somebody who died on August 30th, 2015 said, I left today. Now, recently I was asked the question, do I ever get messages the day that people pass away? Sometimes I do. Here's one example. And listen to this. All right, listen to this. It's going to get interesting. I know that this is a husband that passed, and I know his wife lives in Rhode Island, maybe Warwick somehow. How I know that, I don't want to think about because I don't have any clue. I just know I have that feeling. So that person died on August 30th, 2015. Oh, so I got a lot of purple papers to share with you. You're going to, next week, we're going to come together at 11:11. We're in the office, right? 11:11 next week. We're going to come together. We're going to have a conversation. But I'm going to answer the questions that are in the stream next week. So if you really want to ask all your questions, you got to come here and be with me next Wednesday at 11:11. All you have to do is keep following me here. So Helen, Ronald, the young kid with the drugs and the accident, Mary and the gold and yellow beads, Anna and her 6 weeks of difficulty, and Michael John. Those are the purple papers. And our final shout-outs for today, Ellen and Pasco, thank you. Nicole in Lincoln, Lisa in Warwick, and Debbie in Warwick. For those of you that are in the Rhode Island area, Massachusetts, Connecticut area, I will be this weekend at events in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. You can get all that information on my website. I will be teaching a Reiki Masterclass this summer if you're interested. It's a very specialized program. You can let us know. And, of course, be on the lookout for Heaven the Experience, because we're coming to a theater near you. Don't forget to check out my Facebook pages and my website. And as always, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting me along the way. And until next time, I send you love. Have a good day.